Okay, fabulous news, my friends. Finally, Yale has endorsed mud fossils, and they're talking about fossilization of hard tissue proteins, and it goes down through. They really get deep into all the, things that are. But anyway, it gets down to soft tissues preserved in oxidative settings. Now, I've been working with Yale for years on this. We don't communicate too much, but I kept sending them all of my information. I'll show you what I sent them. The person I communicated with was Derek Briggs at Yale, and he didn't find anything in my stuff, and he still doesn't acknowledge my work, but he is taking credit for understanding soft tissue fossilization. Now that's the head that I originally talked to Yale University about. This belongs to Jim Burchell and Arlie Caudle down in rural Kentucky. And Derek Briggs told me to take this down to University of Texas to have it CAT scanned, and then they would take a look at it. I think he didn't want to look at it, and he's just rejected it totally out of hand. But I forced the issue, and then when they realized it was real, apparently they had the police call me and lawyers to tell me to stop bothering them. Literally, they just didn't want to get involved. They just hated this whole idea, because everything that I present shows there is God. I mean, it's all. Where do you see this? Okay, my friends, I'm going to try to be as calm as I can be. But in 2014, Jim Burchell was on TV showing this head, and I contacted him because they said it was just sandstone. This is Roger, Mudfossil University. I contacted Jim. I said, Jim, that is real, and we can prove it. And I will get a hold of Yale University, and we'll get this proven, because I have already proven mud fossils. So he put his trust in me, and Yale literally destroyed me. And I will show you what they did. And I really feel terrible about Jim. They spent $1,500, went down to Texas on Professor Briggs's recommendation. Professor Gautier recommended I discuss my specimens with Briggs, so I did. I sent him this thing, and I said, we have found a head. I have Jim Burchell on here, and then Data 2000's on here, and Derek Briggs, and me. And I said, we found this head. Would you take a look at it? He said, before I can do anything, you have to have it CAT scanned and this and that. And I said, well, where should we do that? He said, we use the University of Texas. So, because he would never look at anything. He said, I can't do anything until you do the basic stuff. I said, okay. So I said, we'll get chemistry, we'll get all the stuff done. So we did. Took it down to Texas. I checked it all. I did the chemistry on it. It was all valid. It was all the ferrous oxides that I was expecting. I understand these things quite well. Well, as you can see, they understand now what they have to do. Is even they had to change their name. It's no longer geology or geophysics. They're changing it to reflect this, which is the Earth is made out of biology, and they're to reflect. This is to reflect that there is a new story on the Earth now, and it's not what they said. It's totally different, and it's time to apologize to us mud fossil people. All right, thank you, Yale. Okay, you saw the picture of the new Earth Sciences at Yale. Well, maybe they want to put a picture of a dragon on there. That's a dragon. This is very no question whatsoever. And this is the throat running all the way down the dragon's throat. I searched it. I did this for years. I looked this in. And there's a ton of things on the Earth that are just so overlooked. And this is all the effluent bleeding off of the dead, decaying dragon. That hasn't been there that long. I'm estimating this was 11,500 years ago. And there's a tail running out here. So everything that we had thought was real is, and in education, they got to start all over again. There's the giant fish. And they got to take God into account and stop all this nonsense with no God. And this happened at the same time that Atlantis collapsed, which is fully recorded too by Plato. It was 9,100 years before Plato, and he was 2,400 years ago. So I'm going 11,500. And I can say that this all happened at the same time, because not only did all of the Sahara Ocean run out over the top here, creating Cape Verde Islands, this ran over the top of the fish's body. So in my estimation of what occurred here is everything ran out. These two were killed at the same time, laid flat, and it's still dribbling out as they are dying. And this ran over the top of the fish's body. So I am going to go with the fact that this all occurred at the same time, and that, I've shown this so detailed. This is Atlantis, no question. And this is the straits they talked about. Plato talked about it was outside the straits. Nobody ever said the straits of Hercules. They said outside the straits. And this is, it has all the boat channels and docks and all that stuff. I found them all in here. And these different colors indicate different transition metal rings. You see this? These are all the docks. These are all the docks. You see it? And then they had all this buildings and everything, and then they came over to this side, and then they shipped them out over here to go in. It is what it is, and it's time to see what it is. So I'm just glad that Yale finally acknowledged mud fossils. And the thing that bothers me, though, is that Derek Briggs refused to accept my stuff for years and has never apologized to me, never acknowledged my work. And my work is all DNA certified, CAT scans, anatomists, DNA, the whole 9 yards. So, and I don't think he has any of that. All they have is these kind of theories, but he knows it's real, and they had to change the name of their of their university to reflect that. And here's all my DNA reports, and there was 3 of them, and they were giant human beings. 2 of them were huge giants, and one of them still has the fingerprints and the fingernail on it. You could take it, put it on a post office wall, and catch the guy. I've shown that many times. I should probably show it again now. Yeah, why not? Okay, in addition to Jim's head, and like I said, they sent the police and lawyers on us because they didn't want this. But there's no stopping it. You can't stop it. This is a fingernail right there. That's a fingernail. That's a fingertip. That's where the bone is in the back. This side here, I smashed it off with a sledgehammer so that I could get around. I wanted to get blood out of it, but it just, fortunately, it broke down far enough where I could get the fingerprints, because those are the fingerprints from the other side. It's fingerprints just like the fingerprints on you. That's called grip skin, friction skin. You look it up, and that's what it is. And this was also DNA certified. And not only is it DNA certified, I go way up inside of the arterial network. And he said it was dense. He said, boy, it's dense for ancient DNA. And of course it's dense because I'm taking it right out of the artery. Same thing here. This lung was also DNA certified. Right up in there, we drill a hole. You just drill a little pinhole up in there, and you take all the stuff out very carefully, rubber gloves, mask, all of that stuff into a plastic bag, 2 or 3 bags. I think I put it in 2 bags. Put it in sent it off to them, and they analyzed it, and it came out human DNA. It wasn't, and it was so much of it that it couldn't have been just something falling off in there. So, and they did negative controls anyway. That's all done. That's water over the dam. But they should acknowledge my work. I mean, geese. It's a geese. And he said, no, none of it was real. It all just looks like stuff, and it was never real. Well, finally, they did their work. I expect an apology. And I expect to be known as the person that discovered mud fossils. They would have never looked at this stuff if it wasn't for me. I was the only one talking about this, and I was so destroyed by those people. It's a good thing I didn't have to make a living, because I would have never been able to keep up with the storm on this. This is 8 years. And they should apologize. If they have any humanity in them whatsoever, any morality, any integrity, they should apologize. Now, I'm going to leave it at this. This is my buddy Tyson Carlson, and he's on the West Coast, and we work together daily. And look at this. This is a membrane. That is a membrane that would be in your body, and the molecules would go through these holes. You could go through there. A very sturdy person could get through that hole. It's gigantic. Look at this. These are the blood vessels. That's a blood vessel. These are not lava caves. Now, he has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. Look at this. Look at this. Absolutely incredible, the stuff he has. That's the back of a cave that's You know, it's amazing what he's got. Anyway, look at the stuff he's got. Now, so he did a video yesterday. Hold on a second. Okay, this whole coast here is supposed to be volcanism, but there is no volcanoes anywhere near. And also, Tyson has gone and done all of the research here. He's picking up all the chemistry now. He's out there doing the work that should have been done to see what happens is, this is obviously not volcanism. What happens is they just come out and they grab a quick thing and that's all it is, and they walk away. And we're dealing with this guy claims he's a big hotshot geologist that works for the biggest companies in the world, and he's dead set on that this is volcanism, and absolutely no way in the world that it is. Tyson has proven this beyond a shadow of a doubt. So why doesn't Professor Briggs and all his crew start to take a look at this? The West Coast, Oregon. You see this? This is tissue, and then it butts up into this black stuff, which is blood. That is blood running out of there. The tissue is here. That is blood. You see that? That's blood on top of the tissue. That's not volcanism. Let's have Professor Briggs look at this. Let's see. I want to find out what the competency level is there. So as far as I see, I wouldn't pay a nickel to go to there for what they're just totally against reality and truth as far as I can determine. It's disgraceful, really.